there. All right. Okay, so I restarted over here and hey Uncle Anthony, good to see you as well. Yeah, Inger, I don't know. It said that it lost connection and then it said that it reconnected, but then even when it said it reconnected, you guys I could see you in the chat saying you couldn't see me. So I don't know what happened. Sorry guys. I'm trying to fix it up. Um Hey guys, so listen, I don't know what happened. Yeah, it said I lost connection, then it said I reconnected, but when I reconnected, you guys couldn't watch. Yeah, oh thanks, Mama Bear. So I just went ahead and closed it out and then restarted. So hell if I know. I don't know what happened. All right, so let me finish sharing with you all what happened with the DOJ and with hey Janie uh yep, Tammy, I just redid it. Yeah. So I closed out that last stream because it wasn't working properly and so I just went live again, okay? Right, Sandy, it was it was Gary. It really was. Um hey Dominic, can you come here and help me? All right. So we're going to just keep going. All right. So let me share with you all what happened. If that's my black jacket hanging right there, can you give it to me, please? And thank you. Okay, so here's where we are. I have explained to everybody that right now, where we are in this story, Kilmar Abrego Garcia is sitting in Texas, about to be deported to El Salvador. Yes. I don't know. You will have to check. I didn't do anything with it. You guys had it last. Okay. You have to check the other one. Don't forget that I got you lunch meat too and sub rolls. Okay. I don't care what you have, son. Okay, so here we go. So listen, this is the part that's important. Thank you, Lynn Cotton, for following me on Substack. Okay, so here we are. You have Erez Raveni, who is the who's been promoted over at the DOJ. We are at the point where Drew Ensign is in court on the 15th of March, which is a Saturday, folks. And he is handling the case for the ACLU and the temporary restraining order for the 5 Venezuelans who are subject to the Alien Enemies Act. And now they're having a hearing about expanding this class, right? Expanding the people who are impacted by this particular proclamation and the people that they expect to be deported. The DOJ, or at least Erez Raveni, has learned through this lawsuit by the ACLU that for the first time he's learning that we intend to deport people to El Salvador, to some of the worst prisons, to one of the worst prisons in the world. Have you ever thought about running for Congress? I did think about it, but it's not something I plan to do. Deuces Wild. And even though I get asked all the time, the reason why I don't desire to run for office, number one is just because I don't think that I would love it. Um to be quite frank. If I ever did it, it would be because I saw no other option, and that would be my last resort to, I don't know, somehow try to make a difference. What I prefer to do, what I would strongly prefer to do, is to have other people that desire to run for office who want help with messaging or strategy or any of those things. I would rather help do that, right? Yeah, thanks. Deuces Wild said you're a calm and effective speaker. And so this is my thing. I think that my place is best suited in disseminating accurate information and in helping the people. Like I think about being in Congress, not having the ability or the time to do all of these things, right? And so what I want to do is what I'm doing with you all right now. I want to do that on a larger scale. That's what I desire. I would love to see this platform become bigger than Tucker Carlson's, bigger than Ben Shapiro's, bigger than Candace Owens. And the reason why is because it's not for me. The reason why I desire that is because I think that what we do here in this space would be beneficial to people, right? That's what I believe. And Janie, just ignore Gary. Literally ignore his ass, because I let Gary sit up here with me on TikTok the other night for a long ass time. I did not choose to waste my time and energy on Gary today, is because that's exactly what it would have been, a waste. If somebody tells me they are not interested in accuracy, if somebody tells me they do not care, yeah, he's on Facebook now. And so if somebody tells me that, I'm not wasting time, because there's no point. If Gary wants to fucking learn something, then he can sit in the comments and learn something. And if you keep being disruptive on Facebook, you'll find yourself blocked from there too, Gary. Right. Definitely for the people, not the establishment. 100%. Right. Matter of fact, let me just, y'all know I'm getting ready to take care of it right now, right? Yeah, he going nowhere fast. Give me a moment. Just being a damn distraction. And I hate it because we got shit to do here. And watch this. We're gonna go to Gary, and we are gonna go to whoops, hold on. Where are you at, Gary? So I can just handle you quite effectively. Block. Done. I did. And like the difference is when I block you over here, I'm blocking you from my whole life over here. When I'm live, your ass will not see me no more. I didn't even block him through Restream. Like I blocked him from Facebook for real. Okay. All right. So here we go. So listen, this is the part that I want people to listen to. Okay. Oh, thanks, Adora. I appreciate that. I really do. Stacy gone. He gone now. I done blocked him for real. So listen, this is the part that is incredibly important, because I want you all to understand what has happened in the DOJ and why this is significant. Yep, I made it Facebook official. Officially blocked. So this is important because your senators right now have to be making a decision about whether or not they will vote in favor of Emil Bovee being an appellate judge. And the answer to this possibility is absolutely not. That is the answer to this, is absolutely not, because he has no integrity and he has violated his oath to the Constitution and his responsibility to the courts, right? So let me tell you what's happening at this point, okay? Is at this point, while Kelmar Abrego Garcia is sitting in Texas, believing he's just finding out he's not going to go before an immigration judge, and he is actually facing imminent deportation to El Salvador. What's happening back in DC is that the ACLU has filed a lawsuit on behalf of 5 Venezuelans, and we are now at a public hearing that is happening at 5 p.m. on a Saturday to expand that temporary restraining order past those 5 people to an entire class of people. What's up, Susie? All right. So while Drew Ensign is sitting in court handling this case, Mr. Ravenny is listening on the public line. And this is the part that gets really important, folks. Okay. So I need for you all to understand this. And now that I'm back over here, I'm going to share this with you guys. You guys can actually see the receipts. You ready? So here's what it is. Judge Boasberg says, what 230 people that were released? I'm not sure what you're referring to, Mama Bear. You're talking about the 238 from CCOT? Yeah, the problem is that but the problem is that they weren't brought back here. Right? There were 10 Americans that were detained in Venezuela, right? And so, yeah, these 238 people were released, but they're not back here. And so that's a problem. And what's interesting, let me just hold on for a second. Give me a second, folks. I'm looking at something really quick. Damn. So, hold on a second, guys, because I can't find. So, can you all find where they are supposed to be? My understanding is they were just released, but I don't think we paid to bring them back here. Did we? Help me understand, you guys, because I don't think so. Yeah, I didn't think so. Yeah. Yeah, they're still in Venezuela. They were just released from CCOT, from the prison. That's it. So that's the part that I think is really important for people to understand. Um, hold on. Yeah, I don't think that we did that. What's up, Judo? Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. So they're just back in Venezuela, right? Yeah. Yeah. They're just back in Venezuela. Yeah. Yeah. They met him at Caracas, I believe. So those Venezuelans, they're not back here. They're still not getting due process. They're just now in Venezuela. Yeah. So it depends. It depends because the one guy, the makeup artist, he actually applied for asylum here from Venezuela. And that's that's where he's at now. So people are very concerned for him and his but now here's what is happening, folks. These individuals that were being held in CCOT for 4 months, right? They are now telling what has happened to them for the last 4 months, right? And I need for you all to understand, like, one of the guys is saying, listen, we were kidnapped. He said, we got a beating for breakfast. We got a beating for lunch. We got a beating for dinner. Right. So if you haven't started reading the statements from these individuals, they are 100% coming out.
And that's part of the reason why no one leaves CCOM, right? Because they don't want those statements coming out to the public or to anyone, much less 238 individual people all telling the same story, the same beatings, the same way they were treated, living in the same horrible conditions. And when you talk about, even from the Republican side, we talk about human rights and oh God, what's the word? It just escaped me. People being treated with dignity, right? Human dignity. I know
Yeah.
the terminology for it. I'm sorry. It just slipped my tongue. So human rights advocates, that's what it is. When they come in and they start seeing how the misuse of human beings is taking place, they're going to come in just like any other and say, hey, you're treating people horribly and bring outrage onto their country. And they don't want those stories to get out.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
So just so that everybody gets, Mother Jones had done an article on Neri Alvarado back in March, and they've done an update, right? And so they talked to his sister then, and then they also talked to him, right? Yes, the 238 people were the ones that we sent there and we paid to keep them. Yes, that's them. And so now 230 of them have now been sent to Venezuela in exchange for 10 individuals from El Salvador.
And the other question is, are we still paying El Salvador for their hospital?
The $6 million? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Or that, somebody else needs to ask that question.
Right. 100%. We need to do that. Right. No, girl, we're not getting no refund. El Salvador is not giving us a penny back. Absolutely not. Y'all know better. But here's what he's saying. So Alvarado had worked as a baker in the Dallas area. And he was just a Venezuelan man with tattoos, right? His most prominent tattoo, you guys, was an autism awareness ribbon with the name of his teenage brother, right? That's his tattoo. That was his most prominent. And he said, quote, we got a beating for breakfast. We got a beating for lunch. We got a beating for dinner. Right. Yes, honey. Mila Ann, do you want to go on timeout? Go apologize to Bella right now. Now look at me. Hey, Mila, look, if you hit her again, you're going in timeout. Did you hear me? Okay. Right. That's a no-no. There were relatives that shared videos from them when they got to Caracas coming off the plane. It's crazy. So I think that we will hear more and more about what happened to them as time goes by. Yeah. Tom, good evening. What you got for me? I think it was a mistake. Yeah, because he never requests up, so I'm pretty sure that it was. Okay, so so hold on, I'm reading some of the things that are being said over here on Facebook. So someone says, unfortunately, James says, I don't think any of this will be resolved until after the midterms or later. The court need to pick them up, but they may end up in a country further away, like Africa. No, so okay. So we need to talk about these two different things. So the people that we are talking about right now are the 238 Venezuelans that we sent to El Salvador. El Salvador released those 230 people. I don't know about the 8, but 230 or so back to Venezuela in exchange for 10 El Salvadorians that were being kept No worries, Tom. That were being kept in El Salvador. Now, those people are starting to tell. The problem is that some of these people that have been returned to El Salvador fled El Salvador and had legal status here, such as the makeup artist who applied for asylum for fear of being persecuted in El Salvador. So, yes, it is great that they are out of CCOT and they are in Venezuela. However, some of them could still be in danger because some of them fled from Venezuela. What did I say, y'all? Right. Now some of them are back at square one. So 230 that we sent to El Salvador, Venezuelans we sent to El Salvador are now in El Salvador, but some of them applied for asylum. Oh my God. We sent Venezuelans to El Salvador in CCOT. Those Venezuelans are now in Venezuela, right? Because there was a prisoner exchange between Venezuela and El Salvador. The thing is, some of those people that are in Venezuela applied for asylum with us from Venezuela. So some of them are still in jeopardy because they have been returned to the very place they were fleeing from. So yes, they are out of CCOT, which is great. However, some of them are still in danger. Correct. Right? Yeah, Maduro is actually absolutely a dictator. 100%. Right? Yes. They still weren't allowed to send him to El Salvador because they did not go through their third party process and they did not have a Title 8 order. So so they weren't ever allowed to go to El Salvador because they did not have a final Title 8 removal order. That never happened, so none of them were allowed to go to El Salvador to start with. Just so that everybody is clear. Okay? Yeah, so I mean, it really just depends at this point. And some of them were met by family members in Venezuela, some of them were not. And let me just say this, it wasn't 10 El Salvadorians, they were 10 Americans that were in Venezuela that were swabbed. This is why people think we had something to do with it, because there were 10 Americans that were being kept in Venezuela. Those 10 Americans were freed from Venezuela in exchange for the Venezuelans that were in CCOT in El Salvador. So let me ask you a question. Why do you think Venezuela wanted those folks and were willing to give 10 Americans for them? I'm just saying. Okay. I really want to finish this though, so that we can. Yeah. So give me a second. Yep. Adore. I'm going there right now. So this is the part that's important, folks. And I need for you all to hear me about this. Okay. It's so important that we get to this part of the documents because this is the part that matters when considering Emile Bovee for the Fourth Circuit Appellate Court. You hear me, y'all? This is important. So the point that we are at right now in this story is Kilmar Abrego Garcia is sitting in Texas awaiting deportation to El Salvador. Okay. And the ACLU has filed a lawsuit. They've gotten a temporary restraining order for 5 Venezuelans subject to the Alien Enemies Act. Okay. The judge has issued a TRO for those 5 and scheduled a hearing for a broader TRO to the class. Emil Bovey has told the DOJ litigators that they may have to consider telling the federal courts, fuck you, and ignoring the orders. And now we are at the hearing where Drew Ensign is the one that is arguing this case before the judge, while Mr. Ravenny is listening on the public line. All right. Sorry, I was reading something. All right. So listen. So Judge Boasberg is asking this question right here. Quote, the plaintiffs expected planes to be departing within the last couple of hours. Remember, this is 5 p.m. on March the 15th. And he asks Drew Ensign, quote, if any of the named plaintiffs are in fact on any plane that has departed, end quote. Ensign then assured the court that none of the named plaintiffs would be removed during the pendency of the TRO, which is a temporary restraining order. Boasberg then says, does that mean the plaintiffs, quote, are either not on the planes or that they will not be removed from the planes, like when they land, and will be brought back once the planes land in El Salvador, end quote. Drew Ensign answers by saying this, quote, I don't know the status of the planes. If there are removal flights, which we know that he knows that there are, the 5 would not be on them, end quote. Judge Boasberg then asks, quote, he asks, are there any departures that are imminent, right? As in, quote unquote, the next 24 or 48 hours, right? And then Drew Ensign answers, quote, I don't know the answer to that question. Now, the text message that you see up in front of you, Facebook and YouTube, is between Mr. Ravenny and a colleague when this happens. He says, oh shit, that was just not true. And someone says, about to enter the find out phase following fuck around. Okay. Then somebody says, quote, I can't believe he said he doesn't know. He says, he got my email. I mean, he doesn't know for sure they're AEA. And the colleague says, about what? What? And he says, he knows they are being removed about the flights and the email from ACLU. The response, he knows there are plans for AEA removals within the next 24 hours. So understand what that means, that right now you have Drew Ensign, who is the Deputy Assistant Attorney General of Oil. The Deputy Assistant Attorney General of Oil is standing in a federal court and lying to a judge about something he knows is about to happen. I just want y'all to, can y'all, like, do y'all appreciate the severity of that? No, it's not perjury. He's not under oath. That he can be sanctioned for lying to the court. He can be sanctioned. He can lose his law license. He is lying to a federal judge. This is ask Sidney Powell how well this shit works out. Ask Kenneth Chesbro. Ask John Eastman. Ask Rudy Giuliani. And none of those people were part of the damn DOJ. This ain't like lying under oath. This is the Deputy Assistant Attorney General of the Office of Immigration Litigation standing in federal court lying to a judge about information he knows is going to happen. It's criminal. It's not perjury. No, he's not testifying in a court case. It's not perjury. It is lying to the court. It is misrepresenting facts. He can be sanctioned. Yeah, they can prove it. This proves it, Marky. Yeah, they can prove it. That's why there's a whistleblower complaint. This text message is between Erez Raveni and another colleague. And Erez is saying he got my email. He knows good and damn well these people are about to be removed. He was just in a meeting with us yesterday. Y'all listen. They had a meeting on the 14th where Emil Bovee told them, yes, these planes are taking off on the 15th and the 16th. And yes, there's going to be a court order before we can make this happen. And you're probably going to have to tell the federal judge, fuck you, and ignore the order. He was in the meeting. No, he was in the meeting with a room full of attorneys who heard it. And the emails are attached. Yeah, Deuce is wild. Boasberg knows about this because this was filed June the 24th. So listen. So Mr. Raveni knows that Drew Ensign is lying because they were in the meeting the day before, right? And then Ensign adds this in court, quote, "We can certainly investigate that and report that back to you," end quote. When Judge Boasberg says, how soon can he get that information? Ensign says that the government could, quote unquote, certainly include that information in a document that they were going to follow tomorrow night, quote unquote. Tomorrow night, why? Because tomorrow night is the night of the 16th. And by that time, every damn plane will have taken off by then. Everybody will be in El Salvador by then. And it won't fucking matter what they send to the court or what they tell the court, because it'll be done with. Right? That was the plan. So the plaintiff's lawyer, which is the ACLU, says, Your Honor, we can't wait until tomorrow night. And then the plaintiff says this to the court, quote, "Their understanding is," quote, "from people on the ground from different sources," that would be the people at the damn airports, right? "That planes are going right now, taking Venezuelans to El Salvador," end quote. "And that 2 flights, quote unquote, may have already taken off during this hearing," and urge the court, quote, "to issue a class TRO now to avoid any more harm," end quote. Now, let me tell you what, their sources were correct. We now know that those planes were taking off during this hearing. We know that from the whistleblower documents. Okay? So as we get into this, here's what happened. So while this hearing is taking place, okay, the judge then says, okay, listen, we're going to take a break. He says, we're going to adjourn until 6. And we're going to let Mr. Ensign do some more digging, right? So that we want to, he says, Mr. Ensign, these are the things I want to know when you come back. Quote, "I want to know, have planes, in fact, is deportation of people under the proclamation pursuant to the Alien Enemies Act in motion now, and will it be for the next 48 hours, end quote. Drew Ensign responds back and says to this judge, quote, "We can do that, Your Honor," end quote. Now listen, y'all, the adjournment began at 5:22. Listen to this. The adjournment started at 5:22 p.m. But get this. Prior to 5:24 p.m., Department of Justice attorneys, including Drew Ensign and Mr. Raveni, received an email from the ACLU's attorneys of public reporting of flight information stating that they had reason to believe people were on planes for imminent deportation, according to public reports and various websites that track the whereabouts of planes in real time. at least 2 planes took off from Texas after the start of the hearing. The first one was at 5:26 p.m., the second at 5:45 p.m., en route to what online sources speculated was, quote, a final destination of El Salvador. So I want you all to understand that during this hearing, the Department of Justice and the Department of Homeland Security know that there's a hearing taking place that would keep these people from going anywhere. And yet, these planes took off. And the planes took off after that initial temporary restraining order this morning. So listen at this. At 5:55 p.m., there's Mr. Raveni is messaging with a colleague about this. And he says, this doesn't end with anything but a nationwide injunction. And he says, and a decision point on fuck you, meaning somebody is going to have to make a decision as to whether or not we basically say fuck you to the court and ignore this judge's order. And then somebody else says it's a question if Drew gets out without a sanction. The response is Jesus. And then somebody else says, was he ready for this? Are you with him? Oh boy. Okay. At 6 p.m., after they adjourned for 38 minutes, Drew Ensign provided Judge Boasberg with no information about those flight departures, even though he got an email from the ACLU attorneys about it. Specifically, this is what he said to the court, quote, I don't have many details to share. He said that his, quote, clients said that the, quote, operational details raised potential national security issues, particularly ones if discussed with a public line, end quote. He then tells the court, quote, that his clients had raised, quote, that we may be able to provide your honor additional details in an in-camera hearing. In other words, if they shut down the public line. So that's what they did. The judge immediately shuts down the public line, calls for an in-camera hearing. And then Drew Ensign says, he says, quote, we would have to sort out what we can still provide in camera. So guess what? He then says, put the public line back up. Because it's like an off the record, right? He says, even with that, you all aren't telling me what I'm asking you to know. So they are literally saying to the courts, fuck you. And this is Drew Ensign. Now remember, who's above Drew Ensign? Emil Bove. Emil Bove is this, right? So the plaintiff's counsel, which is the ACLU, right, says they told the court, quote, Your Honor, we understand that 2 flights went to El Salvador this afternoon, end quote, and that a 3rd flight was, quote unquote, scheduled for 6:23, so only in a matter of minutes, end quote. And guess what happened right after that? The court found that a class certification was warranted. So now the temporary restraining order that was issued in the morning was expanded to anyone subject to the AEA. And at this time, the planes are already in the air, right? This is where it gets even dicier, folks, so that you all can understand what's happening. Emil is E-M-I-L, Bove, B-O-V-E. This is the guy that is going before the Senate to become a 4th Circuit appellate judge. Sorry, Cheryl, I hit the wrong button. You're welcome. All right. So, yeah, Cheryl, I hit the wrong button, honey. Sorry. Sorry. Okay. So, check this out. This is where it gets even dicier, folks, at this point. So, there's another group of messages that we're going to talk about right now, okay? Because at 8:16 p.m., this is when a couple of things happened. Mr. Ravenni had reviewed the information that those flights had landed in Honduras by 8:10 p.m. He then sends a text and says, I guess we're going to say fuck you to the court. Super. The response from his colleague is, well, Pamela Joe Bondi is, not you. Folks, if he said, I guess we're going to say fuck you to the court, super, if the other person did not know what he was talking about, he would say, what do you mean we're going to say fuck you to the court? The fact that he knows that somebody said fuck you to the court is because he was sitting in the room the day before when Emil said you might have to say fuck you to the court and ignore the court order. The guy that wants to become an appellate judge told DOJ attorneys to tell the court fuck you and don't follow judge orders. Right. He was in the room when it happened. Every single person should know this information, and every single person should be emailing their senators and saying, don't confirm this, folks. Don't confirm him. It is not enough, you all. It is not enough to have covered this. Let me tell y'all why I cannot stand the way the media is telling people this information. When they say texts and emails seem to corroborate that Senate nominee advised DOJ to not follow court orders, that does not accurately tell the people what happened. Do y'all get that? That doesn't accurately tell Americans what the fuck the issue is. This is what the media needs to say. Hey, folks, listen to me. Listen. The guy who is the principal assistant to the attorney general told the Department of Justice to tell a federal court, fuck you, not follow his orders. And now that motherfucker wants to be an appellate judge for the Fourth Circuit Court. That's what they need to say. Motherfucker and all. Like sometimes you need an MFer in there so that people get the point. Do y'all hear me? That's what the media needs to be saying. This should be a skit on Saturday Night Live every Saturday between now and it's over. This should be the headline. I don't know of a single story that is more important right now than this. Not a fucking birthday card. That's not more important right now. This is the most important thing. Yes, Brandy, I got you. Oh, you said I rarely swear. Where you been? Yes. I don't know about that. This joker said, I know you serious because you rarely swear. I swear when I'm really serious about something. Really, really, really serious. Or when I'm being a smart ass. Right. But no, I am really serious about this for obvious reasons. They ain't been around much, right, Grammy? Can I say it again for a video, please? Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Right. Tammy, do you know that that's when I that's when I really found out that I love Beto, right? Well, I don't know that I love everything that he's ever done or voted for, but when he dropped the F bomb after he realized he lost the first go around, I was like, oh, I like you, right? So listen, Abdul, don't laugh at me. All right, so this is why it's important, you all. Listen, when you appoint a federal judge to an appellate court, I want you all to think about every court case that is going on right now where it has gone to a federal judge. The judge has issued an injunction or a stay or said, no, this thing can't happen because it's illegal or it violates someone's constitutional rights. And then the Trump administration has appealed it. When it goes to that appellate court, it matters if the person sitting in an appellate court has the integrity to honor the Constitution. It matters if the person who is an appellate judge cares about the rule of law. It matters if that person can be influenced to do something illegal. It matters if that person is complicit in a prior illegal act. It matters. Mila, stop, please. Bella, did you touch her? Bella, did you touch her? Say sorry. And don't do it again, girls. Don't touch each other. Do y'all hear me? This is the other thing that becomes really important. One of the very few places that we have that is keeping us from becoming a dictatorship is the judicial system. Do y'all hear me? The judiciary is one of the few things that are keeping us in check. That is why Joe Biden appointed so many federal judges, more than Trump did. And Trump appointed a shit ton of them during his first term. Federal judges are checks and balances in a way that I can't describe. Because the Supreme Court does not hear every case that comes before it. Did you all know that? They pick and choose the cases that they hear. They pick and choose. Right now, our Supreme Court is out of balance in a horrible way. So the hope that we have right now are our federal judges that are in between, the appellate judges that are in between our regular federal judges, our district courts, right? And the Supreme Court. We need them to be people of integrity. We need them to be people that honor the Constitution. We need them to be people that respect human rights. The Senate is who votes to whether or not to confirm this. The Senate is who votes, which is why every single person in the Senate needs to hear from their constituents that we do not want this person to be confirmed. That is Emile Bove. Good night, Amy. And let me just tell you all something. Listen, let me tell you all this. Like, seriously speaking. Do you want to know how long we know that this has been in play and planned? Do you want to know how long? More than a decade. How do we know that for sure? That's why they wouldn't allow Obama to put forth his nominee. There was 8 months. There were 8 months. I'm talking specifically about the judiciary. So tell your senators no on Emile. Listen, folks, listen. When Barack Obama wanted to appoint a Supreme Court nominee with more than 8 months prior to an election, and the Republican members of Congress refused to allow him to do so, that is because they needed that seat to be conservative. They needed that seat to be far right conservative. Y'all follow me on that? Yeah, it was his job to do it. Correct, Blue Honey Pot. It was his job to replace. It was. But listen, that was the first time it became very clear that they intended to do whatever to take over the Supreme Court. Okay? No. Oh yeah, you talking about Durbin? Go ahead. You're kind of muffled, Lisa. Girls, not so loud, please. Is that better? Say it again. Yeah, that's better. So yeah, I mean it should be. Let me look and see real quick. Oof. Yeah. Why did this just pop up? Give me a second. Sorry. All right. So oh shit. I forgot I even pulled this up to show y'all. Fuck him right now. I have so many things, you all. I apologize because there are so many things that are always up at different times. Okay, this is what I wanted, I think. Well, for fuck's sake. Oh, where did I pull it up from? Okay. So yeah, it is so there are 900 ex Justice Department attorneys that who have written to urge the Senate not to confirm Emil Bovee. Oh, thanks, Blue Honey Pot, for that. So I want to see. This is the reason why I hate. This is just my personal opinion. I've said it before, but I'm gonna fucking keep saying it. I do not think that articles like this, I did say 900. I do not believe that, thank you. Here it is. So I want to read this to you all. This is from February 22nd of 2025. Wow. Oh, wow. Hold on. I love, so here's what I love. I love the actual documents themselves. Do y'all know what I mean by that? I don't like it's great that Cory Booker put out a post, but when people see Cory Booker, they will think, oh, well, he's just lying because he's Cory Booker and he's a dim and whatever, right? Yes, I want yes, Project Esther has been a topic. Yes. Okay, so give me a second. I want you all to listen to this really quickly. Because I'm finding different things. So this is from February 21st, 2025. This is from Senator Brad Hoylman Segal, who is the 47th Senatorial District, State of New York. This is to the Attorney Grievance Committee, the Supreme Court Appellate Division, First Judicial Department of New York. Okay. And here's what it says. It says reference Emile Joseph Bovee III, and it gives his registration number. That's his law license registration number. And here's what it says. Dear distinguished members of the Attorney Grievance Committee, as the chair of the New York State Senate Judiciary Committee and an attorney duly admitted in good standing to practice law in the state of New York, I am submitting for your consideration the following complaint regarding Emile Joseph Bovee's conduct with respect to United States v. Eric Adams, 24 Circuit 556 DEH. Specifically, I am deeply concerned that Mr. Bovee's reported facilitation of a quid pro quo to facilitate a dismissal of the indictment against New York City Mayor Eric Adams without any cognizable legal basis in exchange for Mayor Adams' cooperation with the Trump administration's efforts to detain and deport migrants. Mr. Bovee's abuse of legal process for political ends is facially, quote, conduct prejudicial to the administration of justice, end quote, and thus runs squarely afoul of the rules of professional conduct which you are entrusted to enforce. By way of further background, and as I am sure you are aware, Mr. Bovee is acting Deputy Attorney General of the United States and a former personal defense attorney to President Donald Trump. In September of 2024, Mayor Adams was charged with a 5-count indictment alleging bribery, campaign finance, and conspiracy offenses. The indictment was supported by fact and law and returned by a duly constituted grand jury. In the succeeding 4 months, the case against Mayor Adams proceeded ordinarily until the Trump administration took power and Mayor Adams began lobbying aggressively for favorable treatment. On February 10th, 2025, Mr. Bovee issued a memorandum directing then acting United States Attorney for the Southern District of New York, Danielle Sassoon, to dismiss the 5-count indictment against Mayor Adams without prejudice. In the memorandum, Mr. Bovee failed to identify any legal or evidentiary issues which would call the indictment into question, nor did he cite a single issue with case proceedings or the conduct of the nonpartisan team of prosecutors who litigated the case. In fact, Mr. Bovee expressly admitted that he, quote unquote, reached the conclusion to dismiss the indictment without assessing the strength of the evidence or the legal theories on which this case is based, end quote. Instead, Mr. Bovey's directive expressly rested on unsupported political argumentation, namely that the indictment hindered Mayor Adams' ability to assist with the Trump administration's deportation efforts, and that the former United States attorney for the Southern District of New York allegedly had political aspirations. Rather than cower to Mr. Bovey's abuse of his authority and bar membership to derail the administration of justice as to Mayor Adams, Mrs. Sassoon resigned. Let me just tell y'all, I'm so sick of people fucking resigning. Stay in your position and say no. Anyway, her courageous letter, which can be found here, which I will read next, lays bare. Hold on. Oh my God, I have so many things up. Lays bare the ways in which Mr. Bovey contravened the rule of law. Miss Sassoon notably concluded that she could not uphold her duty as an attorney while also dismissing the indictment because the dismissal would be, quote, inconsistent with her ability and duty to prosecute federal crimes without fear or favor and to advance good faith arguments before the courts, end quote. Miss Sassoon's resignation was shortly followed by that of another federal prosecutor who led the case team, Hagan Scotton. Mr. Scotton's letter, which can be found here, oh my God, is likewise compelling. He wrote that, quote, our laws and traditions do not allow using the prosecutorial power to influence other citizens, much less elected officials, end quote. Mr. Bovey's unprecedented directive to dismiss charges against Mayor Adams solely so that the Trump administration could influence Mayor Adams' cooperation with their migrant deportation efforts very likely constitutes attorney misconduct in violation of Rule 8.4 of the Rules of Professional Conduct, which provides that an attorney shall not, in relevant part, quote, engage in conduct that is prejudicial to the administration of justice, end quote, engage in conduct involving dishonesty, fraud, deceit, or misrepresentation, end quote, and, quote, engage in any other conduct that adversely reflects on the lawyer's fitness as a lawyer, end quote. I again urge this committee to review Mr. Bovey's conduct leading up to the likely dismissal of the indictment. In no uncertain terms, Mr. Bovey ensured that justice against Mayor Adams would not be administered for no other reason than so the Trump administration could detain and deport migrants in New York City. It is hard to underscore the gravity of Mr. Bovey's actions and the implications for the administration of justice in New York if he does not face consequences. Accordingly, the committee should give serious consideration to all available sanctions up to and including a recommendation that Mr. Bovey be stripped of his license to practice law. Thank you for your consideration of my request. Holy fuck.
The whole thing from beginning to end is like I don't think people realize the gravity of it.
No.
That sense, if there's no consequences for this, it's going to be open season. You're going to have corrupt lawyers from in New York and California and back again, doing whatever the frick they want because there's no consequences.
Folks,
Oh, and Dani, there's some court experts that said that they're trying to get him on the federal bench so that they can appoint him to the Supreme Court.
oh, I know. That much, I mean, that's a given in my thought process. Of course, that's the goal.
Because
So,
they Kavanaugh at times, they want a true believer.
all right. So, there were 7 Freedom of Information Act FOIA requests that American Oversight, which is an organization made in February and March. Okay. Um, they have filed a new lawsuit um, leading up to this nominee. And here's what they say. And this is me. Now I have the court complaint. I have this lawsuit that was filed on the 10th of this month. Okay. Um, before I get to it, let me check on you guys over here and see how you doing. What's up, cuz? How are you? All right. So thank you, Brandy. I got it. Appreciate it. By the way, I very rarely, there are a few like TikTok gifts that I are like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. I saw one today that you guys should check and see if you're in somebody's live, if they use it. Have you all seen the new Terminator face? I saw it today. I was scrolling through TikTok and it turns like part of the face Terminator. It was cool. But anyway, um give me um Mabel, did you mean to request up? Yeah, I think it's new, Brandy. Okay, so listen, I want to tell you all about the Watchdog group. Stacy D, did you want to jump in here before I do this part?
I got shit to say, but I can wait.
Okay. Dominic, your tutu needs help real quick. I haven't seen that one, Tammy. Dom. Thank you. No worries, Mabel. You're good. Okay, so are y'all ready? Because all of this ties together. All of it does. See, that's the little dragon. Yeah, I look crazy over here. Y'all like, what's she blowing? You get me water. Okay. So, um, hold on. I'm reading. An antipasto salad. Oh, okay. I see it. Thanks, Sandy. I wanted the source to read it because I missed the first part. Okay. Okay. So listen. All right. So let me back up. Thank you. My great grandson. He's not my great grandson. He's my grandson, but he's great. Okay. So okay. Yes, babe. I don't know what you're pointing at. No, no. Um, did your mom brought you that? Yeah. Bud, you're getting to be like Mila. Both of y'all. Endless.
Excuse me if I'm hungry.
Listen, a burger, 2 slices of pizza.
Mhm.
Yeah, we're not doing pancakes on top of that.
Or
Bro, I can't. Okay, so he is so impressive. I got that. Okay, so listen. And here I go. Opening up more things. What? Yeah, I don't care.
like, I mean, break it apart.
What?
Nothing.
I don't care. Yes, you want to break it apart and put part of it back?
Oh, I think that's what you want me to do.
Oh, I don't care what you do with it. Jesus. I don't know where they put it. I do not know where they put it. Hollow legs, yes, Dizzy. Okay. So, yes, the Senate Judiciary has opened an investigation into the whistleblower case and all of that, right? His little voice is heavy. It's getting heavy, Sen. It is. That's because he's about to start middle school. Like real talk. Okay, so let me go back. So, the lawsuit, let me just read the lawsuit to you guys. You want to do that so that we can can't find the Terminator one? Yeah, Judo, I saw it today. I don't know if I even have it in mind, to be honest. Yeah, I don't love that age. I mean, he's great. It's other kids at that age that I don't like. Okay, so listen to here is the lawsuit that has been filed as of the 10th of this month against the Department of Justice. You don't see it either. Y'all look for it. I saw it today. It's pretty cool. All right, so listen, here's what it says. Here's the complaint. I got water because y'all know when I read a complaint, they take a minute. Plaintiff American Oversight brings this action against the U.S. Department of Justice seeking information about the activities, holy fuck, of Principal Associate Deputy Attorney General Emil Bovee, a senior DOJ official who previously served as President Trump's criminal defense attorney and is Trump's nominee to serve as a judge on the Third Circuit. I thought it was Fourth, but okay, Third Circuit Court of Appeals. Over the past 6 months, might be a gift of another country's. Yeah, the person who's, yeah, Kat, that might be it, because the person whose live I saw it on is in the UK. Over the past 6 months, information has come to light suggesting that Mr. Bovee may have violated his ethical obligations and acted to defy the Constitution and the rule of law, including, most recently, reports that he encouraged other DOJ attorneys to defy court orders. The U.S. Senate may vote on Mr. Bovee's judicial nomination in mere weeks, as soon as the end of the month. American Oversight brings this action under the Freedom of Information Act, 5 U.S.C. 552, and the Declaratory Judgment Act, 28 U.S.C. 2201 and 2202. Yeah, I got you. Oh, I love this. They are seeking declaratory and injunctive relief to compel compliance with the requirements of FOIA with respect to several FOIA requests seeking information that could shed light on Mr. Bovee's official actions. They're listing out the jurisdiction and the venue, right? And they're listing the parties, okay? Next, here are what they believe to be the statement of facts out. Emil Bovee is President Trump's former criminal defense attorney who currently serves as Principal Associate Deputy Attorney General and is a nominee for a federal judgeship on the Third Circuit Court of Appeals. The Senate is expected to vote on Mr. Bovee's nomination by late July 2025. A scheduled Senate Judiciary Committee vote on Mr. Bovee's nomination could occur as early as July 17th, 2025. For the record, that vote did occur last week. Senate Democrats on the Judiciary Committee walked out prior to that vote to break the quorum and hopefully nullify the vote that took place. That will be an argument that they take up with the parliamentarian this week. Okay. Next, on January 27th, 2025, Mr. Bovee signed a memorandum transferring decision-making authority over sensitive matters at DOJ, including ethics, employee discipline, and release of information sought by inspector generals in Congress, from senior career officials to political appointees. Hold on. I need for y'all to hear that. Mr. Bovee, on January the 27th of this year, signed a memorandum transferring decision-making authority over sensitive matters at the Department of Justice, including ethics, employee discipline, and release of information that is sought by the inspector generals and Congress, from senior career officials inside the DOJ to political appointees. One of these political appointees is, quote, a former criminal defense lawyer for President Trump, end quote. And the other is, quote unquote, a 2021 law school graduate. Yes, they can do that. The executive branch has the authority to run their agencies pretty much how they see fit, as long as they are still compliant with law. Y'all should be screaming right now. Mr. Bovee also reportedly forced transfers of top non-political DOJ officials who he deemed insufficiently supportive of President Trump's agenda. So what they did was they transferred people who were within the Department of Justice that were non-political, right? But he felt did not sufficiently support Trump's agenda out. He transferred them. So in other words, if they were not Trump loyalists, they were transferred out of the Department of Justice or out of their positions. Next, Mr. Bovee oversaw the firings of Justice Department January 6th Capitol riot prosecutors in the U.S. Attorney's Office in Washington, D.C. Upon information and belief, Mr. Bovee told attendees of a January 29th, 2025 meeting that he had received multiple calls from Stephen Miller the previous evening, who was pressuring Mr. Bovee on behalf of then nominee for FBI Director Kash Patel to remove targeted FBI employees quickly, as the Department of Justice had already done with January 6th Capitol riot prosecutors. I just want to let that sit in for a second. Just soak that up. Stephen Miller is calling Emil Bovee, pressuring him on behalf of Kash Patel, who's a nominee for FBI director, to remove FBI employees quickly, like they did with prosecutors of January 6th Capitol rioters. Dizzy, the biggest way that you fight this right now is you scream from the rooftops and you contact your senators. You write letters to the editor. You make clips about this information. You share it far and wide. You tag everybody in it. You tell everybody you know, because this is fucking huge. Listen to this. At the time, Marky says, no one has covered this like you, Dani, not the press, the news, no one. And they should all be covering it just like this, because holy shit. At the time, Mr. Patel was a private citizen and not part of the federal government. Thus, Mr. Bovee have fired those, quote unquote, may have fired those, quote unquote, career civil servants solely at the behest of a private citizen. Yes, Nini, it will be in the link tree. This will be in the Kilmar Abrego Garcia documents, only because that's where the whistleblower complaint is. And that whistleblower complaint is specific to Emil Bovee. And this is more on Emil Bovee. So I think that's the collection I'll keep it in, because I don't want to separate it. Mr. Bovee also reportedly demanded that the FBI provide the names of all FBI agents assigned to investigate the January 6th Capitol riot, including accusing FBI leadership of insubordination when they refused. Mr. Bovee was also involved in the recent dismissal of criminal corruption charges against New York City Mayor Eric Adams. In a meeting on January 31st, 2025, Mr. Bovee, fuck my life, Sorry, I'm sorry because I'm reading this with y'all for the first time. And so I'm just like, you got to be kidding me. Thank you for the galaxy, Penny GF. Oh my God. So here's the thing. So when the senator of New York wrote that letter to the committee of to the Judiciary Committee of New York, right? He didn't include this information right here. So remember, he said that Emile Bovee entered into a quid pro quo with Eric Adams. He didn't say this part. The meeting was on January 31st. So Emile Bovee and Mayor Adams' legal counsel allegedly discussed an apparent quid pro quo arrangement in which the DOJ would dismiss the indictments against Mayor Adams in exchange for Mr. Adams' cooperation with implementing Trump's mass deportation policy. I need to go to the footnote. There's footnotes in here, and I need to see them because this is footnoted. Hold on. Sorry, y'all. I'm just okay. I know what that is. Well, damn. I didn't see this before. Okay, I saw that one. This is so listen, the watchdog, yeah, the boss. So here's the thing. This watchdog organization filed this lawsuit on the 10th of this month. In it, they referenced the whistleblower complaint that was filed on June the 24th of this year. Okay. But I want to see the footnote that is on here. Sorry, I just need to see it. Because I want to know where they're pulling those meeting notes from, because they're important. So follow me. For this watchdog organization to name the date of the meeting and then put a footnote on it. Give me a second, folks. That's 16, that's 14. 9. Well, there it is. Okay, I got it. I see it now. Okay, I got it. I needed to see it. Sorry. I needed to see it. Mr. Bovee reportedly admonished U.S. attorneys who were present in that meeting for taking notes and directed the collection of all such notes at the meeting's conclusion. So stop for a second. We're going to picture this right now. We are going to picture the principal assistant attorney general of the United States of America having a meeting with the lawyer of the New York City mayor, Eric Adams. And when in that meeting with the lawyer for the mayor of New York City, he says, listen, here's what we will do for you. We will drop all the charges that the DOJ has against the mayor of New York City without weighing in on the evidence or the substance of the allegations. if he will cooperate with ICE in the mass deportation of the immigrants of New York City. The other individuals that were in this meeting on January the 31st were taking notes, the U.S. attorneys in the room, and he admonished them for putting shit in writing, and like some mob organization, collected the notes at the end of the meeting. Do y'all understand what I'm telling you? This is not like some, I don't know. This is not a movie. On February the 10th of 2025, Mr. Bovee ordered federal prosecutors to drop corruption charges against Mayor Adams. Shortly thereafter, acting U.S. Attorney Danielle Sassoon resigned in protest of Mr. Bovee's order, along with at least 5 other top DOJ officials. I want you all to remember that 2/3 of the DOJ attorneys have resigned or have given their notice to resign. Is that not crazy? In mid-March of 2025, about a month after Mr. Bovee ordered the dismissal of the corruption charges against Mayor Adams, the White House approached Mr. Bovee about his filling a federal judgeship. Ha! There's the piece. There's the piece. Did y'all get this? So this is the piece. The piece is Emil Bovee gets the DOJ to drop the charges against Mayor Adams in exchange for Mayor Adams cooperating with mass deportation in the city of New York. And in exchange, Emil Bovee gets nominated for a federal judgeship. See how that works? And this is all in the, thank you, Sandy. This is all in the court documents. Right, Ethan, 100%. On March the 14th, 2025, y'all, this is where this ties into the whistleblower case, okay? This is where this ties into the whistleblower case. You guys ready? On March 14th, 2025, Mr. Bovee, and then counselor to the Deputy General, General James McHenry, right? And Associate Deputy Attorney General Paul Perkins summoned attorneys in the DOJ's Office of Immigration Litigation, including then acting Deputy Attorney of Oil, Erez Raveni, to a meeting. And this is now where they're referencing the whistleblower documents in the whistleblower case. Yes, Sandy just took out the trash for me, and I appreciate it. Now, upon information and belief in the meeting, Mr. Bovee told the oil attorneys that one or more planes containing individuals being removed under the Alien Enemies Act of 1798 would be taking off over the weekend, quote unquote, no matter what. Okay. So this is the part that we've covered already. Good God, but they do a really good job of outlining it here. Listen at the, I'm going to finish reading this complaint because it is beautifully done in terms of the timeline of the things that are alleged in the whistleblower complaint, along with public reporting. Remember how the ACLU attorneys are telling the judge, they're telling Judge Boasberg about public reporting that's happening. So what they have done is they have tied in the public reporting and the timeline of the whistleblower complaint together. Do both of you all want to lose technology? Don't hit each other. Come here, Mila Ann. It's time to settle. Okay? It's time to settle. I know you're tired, but it's time to settle down. Okay, babe? Yes, Marnie, I will do so. Yes. All right, here we go. That's a lot. Apparently anticipating the constitutional implications of summarily removing individuals from the United States without affording them due process, nor even, quote, time to settle affairs and depart, as required by 50 USC 22. Mr. Bovee also allegedly told the oil attorneys in that meeting that they would need to consider ignoring any court orders that would enjoin removals of deported persons under the AEA at 7, Exhibit A at 7. Then hand it to me, Mila, and stop being so loud. Thank you. So dramatic. Here's the part that I love about this. Mila, give it to me. Because everybody keeps talking about due process, right? And we've talked about the 14th Amendment and we've talked about the 5th Amendment, right? This is what, thank you, Marky. That is the part that, right. That is the part that I want people. Now, you know, you can't have a lot of this because you will have loose stuff. Okay. Yes, she is, Brandy. She is. Okay. So here's what I love. There is law that says that they have to have, quote, time to settle affairs and depart. And that is required by 50 USC 22. Okay. So that same day, President Trump issued a proclamation that a Venezuelan G organization is, quote, perpetrating, attempting, and threatening an invasion or predatory incursion, end quote, and, quote, conducting, yes, anyone can file a bar association complaint. Yes. And, quote, conducting irregular warfare against the territory of the United States, both directly and at the direction, clandestine or otherwise, of the Maduro regime in Venezuela, end quote, proclamation number 10903. And that's the invocation of the Alien Enemies Act regarding the invasion. Now, listen, when did that happen, you all? That happened March the 14th, right? Here's what I find so fucking interesting about that. On March the 14th, that is what Donald Trump said was the reason he was invoking the AEA, right? Follow me on this, though. For fuck's sake. I'm going to a screenshot. Hold on. I need this one. Open, please. Thank you. Now, here's what's important about that. On April the 8th, so 3 weeks later, after Donald Trump says that Venezuela is threatening to invade the United States, right? Y'all heard all that. Listen to what he says, because I want to put these things side by motherfucking side. Oh my God. Okay. This is so important, so important, so important, so important. This is what he says in the proclamation that invoked the Alien Enemies Act. He said that a Venezuelan G organization, the trend one, y'all know who I'm talking about, it is, quote unquote, perpetrating, attempting, and threatening an invasion or predatory incursion, end quote, and, quote, conducting irregular warfare against the territory of the United States, both directly and at the direction, clandestine or otherwise, of the Maduro regime in Venezuela, end quote. So tell me why. Hold on. I need to go right here. Give me 1 second, folks. So tell me why they did not change the travel advisory to Venezuela until May 12th of 2025. Yeah, Maduro, Maduro. So hold on. I want to look real quick at the ones prior to this. Give me 1 second. That was May 12th. So, oh, so this is good. So, listen, do you know the very first time that we raised the travel advisory to a level 4 to Venezuela? Do you know when the first time we did that was? Under the Biden administration. We did it in September of 2024 under the Biden administration. So why did we hold on? So this again is my issue. Sorry. Hold on. I need to go to Sorry, now I'm going down a rabbit hole and I don't need to take you all with me. I will finish my rabbit hole on my own time. I think the thing that bothers me is we don't need to reissue a level 4 travel advisory. It just stays there, right? It just stays there. In my opinion, they reissued it. Thank you, Brandy. They reissued it specifically because of what the Trump administration was doing with Venezuelans in this mass deportation effort. Because you don't need to reissue it. Once it's been issued, it just stays there. Okay. Oh, sorry. Okay. Let me go back to this court document. The next day, on March the 15th, this is when they take the 238 Venezuelans that were held by the Department of Homeland Security in Texas, were taken from their cells, shackled, and loaded onto planes. Don't forget, this also includes 23 El Salvadorians. Okay, this is when Kilmar Abrego Garcia is loaded onto planes. Okay. Some of those individuals immediately sought emergency relief in this district. Trump's proclamation invoked the AEA to order the Attorney General and Secretary of Homeland Security to, quote, apprehend, restrain, secure, and remove, end quote, all Venezuelan citizens 14 years of age or older who are members of that TREN organization, who are within the United States and are not actually naturalized or lawful permanent residents of the United States, end quote, as quote unquote alien enemies. Congress has not declared war against Venezuela, nor is there any ongoing war between U.S. and Venezuela, nor is the TREN organization, quote unquote, a foreign nation. Listen to this. Trump's proclamation further declares that, because that is covered under 50 USC 21. So Trump's proclamation further declares that, quote, by virtue of their membership in that trend organization, all such members are chargeable with actual hostility against the United States and are therefore ineligible for the benefits of 50 USC 2022, which is what we referenced earlier, right? Listen at this. None of the individuals detained by the Department of Homeland Security and waiting on the tarmac in Texas were provided an opportunity to prove that they were not, in fact, members of that trend organization. That's that due process piece, that pesky due process. The planes waited on the tarmac for hours, and, quote, many passengers aboard reportedly began to panic and beg officials for more information, but none was provided, end quote. Meanwhile, the Honorable James Boasberg of the District Court for the District of Columbia granted the Venezuelan plaintiffs emergency relief and ordered the government, quote unquote, not to relinquish custody of the men. Just as Mr. Bovee had directed during the March 14th meeting, the government ignored the district court's mandate. On the evening of March 15th, the planes flew to Honduras. Remember, we know they landed in Honduras at 8:14, right? Right? They landed in Honduras at 8:14 p.m. And this is when Mr. Ravenny of the DOJ texted his friends and said, I guess we're telling the court, fuck you, right? And they said, nope, Pamela Joe Bondi is, not you, right? No, they go to Honduras and then to El Salvador, Grammy. So they landed in Honduras first and then went on to El Salvador. All right. So on the evening of March 15th, the planes flew to Honduras, then to El Salvador, where the Venezuelan passengers were transferred to a mega prison notorious for torturing its prisoners, known as the Center for Terrorism Confinement, CCOT. Next. And these are the court documents that I'm reading, folks. Yes, babe. What? Babe. Not more cookies.
All right.
Because what?
Nothing.
You said snacks?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I was asking because there just didn't seem like there was like any snacks that I was interested in.
I don't know. I mean, did y'all eat the rest of the chips?
Yeah, but there's only like Cool Ranch, which sucks.
Well, don't blame me that you all ate the ones that you like already. And why didn't you tell me when you knew I got groceries earlier? Bro, you so did.
Yeah, I didn't know that you were ordering them.
Okay. Well, there's always there's apples over there, there's bananas over there. There might be some grapes in the fridge. I do know there's yogurt in the fridge too. Girls, relax. Hey, and I know you like to snack on the Cinnamon Toast Crunch. It's in there too.
Is there any leftovers?
Yeah.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch seems like it's getting old, and like so it's like hard.
Bro, that's only happening if you all aren't closing the bag up when you put it back in the box. Kid stuff, right? Kid stuff. Yes. Okay. So here we go. Next. So the Supreme Court subsequently held in two separate cases that such hurried removals violate the Fifth Amendment due process clause. Because of its defiance of Judge Boasberg's March 15th order, the government is currently facing a contempt inquiry. This is the part that I think is important. So remember that the I don't know. This is the part that's important because remember, Judge Boasberg already found them in contempt, and he has said that he's not above doing criminal contempt and calling in a special prosecutor. My thought process is what's going to happen now that this whistleblower complaint has come out with all of the receipts, literally the text messages and emails that show that they intentionally defied the court's order. I'm hopeful that Judge Boasberg absolutely does what he said he has no problem doing, right? Yeah, they filed an appeal and it's going. So on May the 28th, 2025, Marky, that's why the federal judges are so important. Because that's when they get held in contempt. That's when they get charged with criminal contempt. That's when there's a special prosecutor that is brought in to handle that case specifically. That is when people move to have people disbarred. Those are the things that we all do, and we have to be as committed to that process as they are into taking down the rule of law, is how dedicated we have to be in keeping the rule of law going. So on May 28th, 2025, President Trump announced he was nominating Mr. Bovee to serve as a judge on the Third Circuit Court of Appeals. And the president formally submitted that nomination to the Senate on June 16th, 2025. On June 24th, 2025, 8 days later, Mr. Ravenny, the former acting deputy director of the Office of Immigration Litigation, who served as lead counsel for the government in JGG v. Trump, Supra, and several other cases involving similar removals under Trump's proclamation, and who was fired for refusing to be complicit in the government's defiance of court orders and misrepresentations to the court, filed a whistleblower complaint detailing evidence of misconduct by Mr. Bovee, as well as others, including, and I love this name right here, Joseph Mazzara, the acting general counsel for the Department of Homeland Security, right? If you look at the exhibit, who appoints the special prosecutor, I'm not sure. And I imagine that Mr. Judge Boasberg would have some say in that. So I would have to see how that's done. And maybe Congress is involved in that. I need to check. All right. So hold on a second. Okay, so Mr. Ravenny's complaint detailed that Mr. Bovee's admonition at the March 14th meeting to ignore court orders that might enjoin the imminent removals of Venezuelans under the AEA. On June 25th, 2024, the Senate Judiciary Committee held a hearing on Mr. Bovee's judicial nomination, during which Mr. Bovee, when asked about the allegations in Mr. Ravenny's whistleblower disclosure, said that he, quote unquote, did not recall if he had instructed federal prosecutors to defy court orders. Folks, there's a problem. There is a problem when the principal assistant attorney general does not recall if he told DOJ attorneys to defy federal court orders. That in and of itself is a problem, because there should be no problem recalling, because there should never be a world in which that exists to be a potential thing. There should never be a problem. That would be like asking me, when is the last time I flew a plane? It's not, I don't recall. I've never flown a damn plane because I'm not a pilot. Y'all hear me? This should be an easy no. I do not recall. Get the fuck out of here. I recall that you should not be a judge or have a practicing law license. That's what I recall. I do not recall. Well, then, have you been checked? Do you maybe have dementia, early onset dementia? Do you have like early? I mean, are you losing your memory? Right? Like, I mean, I know you're getting up there in age. Do we need to have your mental capacity checked? Because you should not be a federal judge. You should not be a Third Circuit appellate judge if you cannot recall things, because when you are overseeing these cases, your memory is important. So if you cannot recall some shit that was supposed to have happened 3 months ago, you should not recall being able to be on a bench. I do not recall. All right. Here we go. Sorry. In February and March of 2025, Plaintiff American Oversight submitted requests for records under the Freedom of Information Act from DOJ pertaining to Mr. Bovey's official activities and communications. You guys keep saying, please clip that. Oh, this is interesting. Listen at this. So on February the 12th of 2025, American Oversight submitted a FOIA request to OIP seeking the following records. All records reflecting communications, including, y'all, this is how you send a FOIA request. Remember, I trained you all on this. They do it so well. I love this. All records reflecting communications, including emails, email attachments, text messages, messages on messaging platforms such as Signal, Slack, GChat, or Google Hangouts, Link, Skype, or WhatsApp, telephone call logs, calendar invitations, calendar entries, meeting notices, meeting agendas, informal material, draft legislation, talking points, all handwritten or electronic notes taken during any oral communications, summaries of any oral communications or other materials between Acting Deputy Attorney General Emil Bovey and or anyone communicating on his behalf, such as a chief of staff, assistant, or secretary, and B, White House Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller. Beautiful FOIA request. Very specific and yet inclusive. You got that? It's very inclusive, right? But very specific. I think the only other thing that I would have added to that, and maybe they did in the full thing, was the dates from which these communications took place, right? So it would have been since the inauguration day, right, when they took their official positions, through the date of the request. See what I'm saying? Next, it said they also requested all, I love that they added key terms. So when you all do, listen, when you do a FOIA request, okay, they use a software that looks for specific key terms. They included the key terms for them. So it says all records reflecting communications, and again, all the things that were included. And then it said sent or received by Acting Deputy Attorney General Emil Bovey and or anyone communicating on his behalf, such as Chief of Staff, Assistant, or Secretary, and containing any of the key terms listed below. FOIA, Freedom of Information Act. So it's FOIA, Freedom of Information Act. The key terms are Miller, Cash, Patel, KP, Trishul, and Kashyap. Now, why didn't they put Stephen in there? Because it's so broad, right? But Cash, pretty fucking specific, right? And then it says, they did what I said. Please provide all responsive records from January 20th, 2025, which is inauguration, like your girl said, through the date this quest is received. I'll be damned. I said the same thing. American Oversight asks that this request be processed on an expedited basis, and its request, good night, Judo, and its request included the certifications required by 5 USC 522 A6 E1 and 28 CFR Part 16. On February the 14th, 2025, OIP acknowledged receipt of the request and assigned the request a tracking number. OIP also granted American Oversight's request for expedited processing. As of the date of this filing, which remember, y'all, was July 10th of this year, July 10th. As of the date of this filing, American Oversight has not received any further communication from DOJ regarding this FOIA request. February to March to April to May to June to July. Y'all, it's damn near half a year. 5 months has gone by and they have done nothing to honor this request. 5 months. On February the 14th, American Oversight submitted a FOIA request and gave the DOJ tracking number. And this is where, listen to this, y'all. They ask for all notes taken during January 31st, 2025 meeting that included, at minimum, Acting Deputy Attorney General Emil Bovee, former interim United States Attorney Danielle Sassoon, officials from the United States Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York, and Eric Adams' counsel to discuss United States v. Eric Adams. Given that this request is limited to a specific, recent, and readily identifiable document or documents, American Oversight expects that this request can be processed on a simple processing track and result in a prompt agency response. Please provide all responsive records from January 31st, 2025 through the date the search is conducted. American Oversight asks that this request be processed on an expedited basis, and its request included the certifications required by 5 USC 552A6E1 and 28 CFR Part 16. They acknowledge receipt of the request, assigned it a tracking number, right? On the 14th. On the 20th, again, they acknowledged receipt of the request, stated that it fell within unusual circumstances, and said that they would need 10 additional days provided by statute to respond. 6 days later, they granted over their request for expedited processing. On March the 5th, they acknowledged receipt of the request and assigned it a FOIA tracking number, right? And OIP also granted the request for expedited processing. As the date of this filing, what do y'all think has happened? They have not received any further communication. Same shit for the next one. This is the FOIA request for all email communications, and it does the whole list. And it says, between any DOJ officials listed below and any of the external entities or individuals listed below, or anyone communicating on their behalf, but included, not limited to, the listed email addresses and domains. This shit is so clear. It's real good, y'all. Pam Bondi, James McHenry, Emil Bovee, anyone serving as Chief of Staff to Attorney General, anyone serving as Senior Counselor to the Attorney General, anyone serving as Deputy Chief of Staff to the Attorney General, anyone serving as Chief of Staff to the Deputy Attorney General. And the external entities and individuals are Eric Adams and Camille Joseph Varlak. Holy shit. They gave key terms again. Of course, they got tracking numbers, and of course, they've received no further information. Absolutely, Sandy. Yes, we can do that. And then there's another one, y'all. It's good. Gosh, it's so good. Again, they do all this, they get it is, and then they haven't received anything else. Wow. Good God. Key terms: ethics, recusal, waiver, delegation, delegated, inspector general, inspectors general, IG, OIG, employee discipline, adverse personnel actions, bar referral, professional responsibility. Damn. Yeah, boy, they are not playing. The next group of key terms. Listen to this, you all. I'm sorry, my mouth is hanging open because I'm reading this. On March the 7th of 2025, American Oversight submitted a FOIA request to OIP seeking the following records. Listen. All email communications, including emails, email attachments, complete email chains, and calendar invitations sent by the DOJ officials specified below, containing the key terms identified below. Here are the people they want this from: Attorney General Pam Bondi, former acting Attorney General James McHenry, Acting Deputy Attorney General Emil Bovee, anyone serving in the capacity of Chief of Staff to the acting or actual General Attorney, anyone serving in the capacity of Senior Advisor to the acting or actual General Attorney, Jordan Fox, Chief of Staff to the acting Deputy Attorney General, and Kendra Wharton, Associate Deputy Attorney General. The key terms that they want in the emails, if the emails sent from these people include these words, they want the entire email chain. Listen at the key terms: ethics, recusal, waiver, delegation, delegated, inspector general, inspectors general, IG, OIG, employee discipline, adverse personnel actions, bar referral, professional responsibility. And then they go on to say, in an effort to accommodate the DOJ and reduce the number of potentially responsive records to be produced and processed, they limit part one of its request to emails sent by those specified officials. To be clear, however, American Oversight still requests that complete email chains be produced displaying both sent and received messages. Now, why is this important, y'all? Yes, everybody has to be notified. So listen, let me tell you something though. The reason why they did this, and this is so smart, is you can be denied a FOIA request if it is considered to be overly burdensome. If there are going to be just absolutely too many matches, then they can deny it. And what they are saying to you is, listen, we specifically limited this to only the emails that were sent by these people. Now, we still want all of the responses, but we limited this for you. That is smart, and it's so smart to put not only in the FOIA request, but in the court filing, because you're eliminating any objection or any excuse that they could come up with not providing the FOIA. Follow me. So here's the rest of what it says. All records reflecting, because this is point 2, all records reflecting communications, and then it gives you all the includings, between A, the DOJ officials identified in part 1, which is everybody I gave you before, and B, anyone in the White House office, including email address communications with emails ending in at who.eop.gov and phone logs reflecting calls with beginning numbers 202 456 XXXX and C, containing any of the key terms identified below. Oh my God. I love this. Okay, I'm starting to get excited and I'm totally geeking out because this is so good. So good, so good, so good, so good. Oh my God. Hold on. Woo. Oh, this is so good. Oh my God. So good. Okay. So the EOP, folks, is the Executive Office of the President. Y'all hear me? Thanks, Lisa. So listen, the EOP is the Executive Office of the President. WHO is the White House office. So what they are asking for if y'all are with me, they are asking for communications between those DOJ officials that they listed up here and anyone in the White House office, including the EOP, the Executive Office of the President, and any phone logs reflecting calls with the numbers beginning 202456 XXX and any of these key terms. Listen to the damn key terms: social media, loyal, weaponize, Democrat, leftist, political leaning, political ideology, woke, wokeism, radical, deep state, inside job, election stolen, stolen election, 2020 election, America first, political contribution, political donation, campaign contribution, campaign donation, MAGA, campaign message. Please note that American Oversight is using the asterisk to designate the standard use of quote unquote wild cards in the search for responsive records. So they used asterisk. Oh, this is so funny. Here's what that means. So, like with loyal and weaponize, they put an asterisk beside it. And here's what it says. So if you search for loyal, right, then it should bring into it loyal, loyalty, loyalist, etc. And it says, if your agency is unable to search for wildcards, please advise so that we may specifically include the variations that we would like searched. They asked for it from inauguration date, like I said, to the date that the search is conducted. On March 10th, OIP acknowledged receipt of the request, gave it a tracking number. They again said that it was unusual circumstances. They would need 10 additional days provided by statute to respond. As of the date of this filing, which is July 10th, they have received no other further communication from the DOJ regarding this FOIA request. And here's another one. Holy shit, y'all. On March the 31st, 2025, American Oversight submitted a FOIA request to OIP. They gave the internal tracking number seeking the following records. Listen, y'all. Number one, all email communications, including all the things I told you before, between any of the sorry, any any of the officials listed below and or anyone communicating on their behalf, such as a chief of staff, secretary, assistant, advisor, or scheduler, and anyone in the White House, including anyone communicating from an email address ending in who.eop.gov. So that is the White House office, executive office of the president. Okay. I love that I'm loving this. Here are the DOJ officials: Pam Bondi, Todd Blanche, Emil Bovey, James McHenry, Chad Mazzell, Yokov Roth, Jolene Ann Lauria, Drew Ensign, August Flinte, Erez Raveni, Brian Ward, Sean Day, Vetan Kapoor, and anyone serving as senior advisor. Point 2, all text messages, including complete text message threads or conversations or messages on messaging platforms such as Signal, Slack, GChat, or Google Hangouts, Link, Skype, X, formerly Twitter, direct messages, Facebook messages, WhatsApp, Telegram, or Parler between any of the officials listed above in part 1 of this request and B, anyone commuting from the White House office. Point 3, all email communications, including blah, 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 between any of the officials listed in Part 1 and or anyone communicating on their behalf, and listen this one, and anyone from the U.S. Doge service, including but not limited to emails from email addresses ending in at doge.gov or doge.eop, which is the executive office of the president.gov, and emails from, and I'll be damned if they don't have a specific email, they sure do, ERM71 at who.eop.gov. I don't know who ERM71 is, but whoever it is, they know something. They coming specifically for that ass. Good gosh. I know it's probably Elon, but I'm just saying ERM is Elon Musk. Yes, it's Elon Musk, y'all. It's Elon Musk.
You were like me when I was reading the Capitol.
They want all responsive records, and this is specific as fuck, between March 14th and March 21st, 2025. That's 1 week. Do y'all know what happened in that? That was the 1 week when everything happened. Oh, girl, it's midnight where I'm at, Joy. Good night. Oh. On April 2nd, they got acknowledged the receipt of the request. It got a tracking number. They denied expedited processing. They said that it fell within quote unquote unusual circumstances and they would need the 10 additional days provided by the statute. As of the date of the filing, July 10th, they'd never heard a response. Elon Reed Musk, I know, right? Wow. Whew. Oh, it's about to get so good. On March the 31st, they also did another FOIA request. I told you guys, FOIAs are so powerful. So powerful. They asked for all email communications, blah, 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 sent by DOJ officials listed below and anyone communicating on their behalf and containing these keywords. What am I reading from? I am reading from a court filing of the American Oversight Organization about FOIA request, and it's around Emil Bove. Okay. Yeah, we know I love a good FOIA, don't we? So here are the DOJ officials: Pam Bondi, Todd Blanche, Emil Bovey, Chad Mazel, Yokov Roth, Drew Ensign, August Flente, Erez Raveni, Brian Ward, anyone serving as senior advisor. And here, my friends, are the key terms. You ready? Quote, alien enemies, alien enemy, AEA, 50 USC 21, 50 USC 21, one with periods between US and C and one without. Boasberg. Oh, I feel like the mother of the church who caught the Holy Ghost just now. Good gosh. Good gosh. Not Boasberg. Listen. Oh, I'm sorry. I could just stop right there, right? Boasberg, TDA, the Trend Organization, Venezuela, Venezuelan, Boasberg again, restraining orders, TRO, JGG, J period G period G period, CCOT, TCC, quote, terrorism confinement center, end quote. Y'all, in order for them to list the key terms, They use the letters of the alphabet A through S. That's damn near the whole alphabet. Anyway, in an effort to accommodate your office and reduce the number of potentially responsive records to be processed and produced, they limited part one of this request to emails sent by those individuals. To be clear, we still want the whole email chains, right? Wow. They want all formal or informal final directives, including informal email communications, guidance, protocol, or policies created by, issued to, or otherwise provided to DOJ regarding the AEA or the proclamation of the United States. Oh my God. They want records reflecting any final legal advice or analysis prepared by the Office of Legal Counsel regarding the AEA. And they want all of the records from March the 1st through the date of the search conducted. They got a response on April the 24th with a tracking number. On July 3rd, they asked that it be processed on an expedited basis, and they gave the code. Never got a response back. And here's the reason why they have filed the lawsuit, and this is why it's so beautiful. This is American oversight. Girls, relax. So this is great. Good gosh, this is so good. So they are proving that they have exhausted all administrative remedies by saying this. As of, yes, Sandy, got you. Thank you guys. Girls, you okay? Okay. Good job. Good job, Bella. Good job, Mila. We almost had a moment there, folks. We almost had a moment. All right. So listen. Here's what it says. As of the date of this complaint, the defendant has failed to either, defendant being the DOJ, has failed to either A, notify American oversight of any determination regarding its FOIA request, including the scope of any responsive records the agency intends to produce or withhold and the reasons for any withholdings. I answered, it's American oversight. That's who wants all of this. This is a court filing. Hey girls, not so loud. B, produce the requested records or demonstrate that the requested records are lawfully exempt from production. Through the defendant's failure to respond to American Oversight's FOIA. Yeah, they can, Cheryl. Yeah, they can. But what they have to prove is, so they either have to tell you why, who are they to request such info? Anybody can. You can. That is the purpose of the FOIA request. I told you to stop playing so rough. Just now. Yeah. Mila, you're okay. Come here. Come here. What's wrong? What's wrong? Okay. Do you have a boo-boo? Do you have a boo-boo? Look at me. Okay, let me see. Okay, you're all right. Okay, you just needed me to kiss it. Okay, so listen, guys, they are a watchdog group, but let me just tell you this. The reason we have a Freedom of Information Act is so that anyone, including you and I, can get transparency from our government in order to hold them accountable. I have used FOIA requests extensively in government accountability and exposing things that are happening behind the scenes. And not just me, but journalists use it all the time. It is one of the reasons why information makes it out the way that it does. Now, if they are going to deny a FOIA request, they have to give you why the request falls outside of the appropriate scope, or why there's a legal reason that these documents cannot be produced or are exempt from being produced. Okay. And here's what it says: through the defendant's failure to respond to American Oversight's FOIA request within the time period required by law, which there is a time period, American Oversight has exhausted its administrative remedies and now seeks immediate judicial review. And then it gives you count 1, violation of FOIA 5 USC 552, failure to conduct adequate searches for responsive records. Count 2, violation of FOIA 5 USC 552, wrongful withholding of non-exempt responsive records. And then they want requested relief. They want injunctive relief. So listen, they are asking the court respectfully to 1, order defendant to conduct a search or searches reasonably calculated to uncover all records responsive to American Oversight's FOIA requests. 2, order defendant to produce within 20 days of the court's order or by such other date as the court deems appropriate any and all non-exempt records responsive to American Oversight's FOIA request with indexes justifying the withholding of any responsive records withheld under claim of exemption. 3, enjoin the defendant from continuing to withhold any and all non-exempt records responsive to American Oversight's FOIA requests and award American Oversight the costs of this proceeding, including reasonable attorney fees and other litigation costs reasonably incurred in this action pursuant to 5 USC 522 A4E, and grant American Oversight such other relief as the court deems just and proper. Whew, whew, whew. That's so good. So good. I can't wait to see what happens. Lisa, did you put this link in or no? Okay, so you put this one in? Hey, Phantom. Okay, cool. So let me give you, I opened a couple of other things real quick, and then I'm gonna let Stacy weigh in real quick. I know I have so much shit propped open for y'all, but give me 1 second. Because I opened them in preview. Nope, not that one. Give me 1 sec. Here it is. All right. So the last 2 documents that I want to read before Stacy weighs in, and quite frankly, before I call it a night, is remember when we are talking specifically about Mayor Eric Adams in New York City and this quid pro quo. And we are talking about Miss Sassoon, who refused to drop the charges, and her resignation, and the next attorney as well that did the same. They both supplied letters. Oh my gosh. I don't want that there. Am I not going to lay my hands on it right now? Because I just had it open. And watch me have closed the one document I needed from it. Maybe. I may have, y'all. If I did, I will get it later. It's great to see me geek out over this. I do. Listen, I love accountability of do I have a mouse pad? No. And I'll tell you why. I did have one, and then all I was using was my laptop, my MacBook, because my old desktop Mac unalived, right? And so I was just using my MacBook, and then my MacBook, the keys are kind of getting stuck or whatever. And I need to see if somebody can clean it out or if I need to get another one. That's what that sound is. Yes. So I borrowed my daughter's desktop, her Mac desktop, because she's not using it. And so I borrowed hers, but still haven't got a damn mouse pad because I don't know. I haven't thought about it with all the other things going on. Oh my gosh. So The means are this. The means are this court case. That's the means. That is the means, is this court filing. And I'm excited to see them get it, right? So yeah. I will need to find the other two documents. So I don't want to see everything that I have pulled up right now because it is a lot. But I will find it. I'm clicking around like I'm crazy right now because I want to find it.
Number two documents that I put in the link tree. It's right underneath the filing that you're talking about. These are complaints that the campaign accountability and the one you were just talking about, the American oversight, both filed with the Chief Counsel Attorney Grievance Committee, pretty much saying that some of these should be disbarred because of our accounts.
Yeah. Did you also put in the one from the senator?
No, but from Dick Durbin.
No. From the senator from the state of New York. His is the one that I read.
Yeah, there's multiple. They all file with the same.
Yeah. I'll find it and I'll put it in. Thanks, Dizzy. All right. So here's what who should be disbarred. Well, there's quite a few of them, but specifically we're discussing Emil Bovey. That's who we're discussing right now, is Emil Bovey. All right. So I'll find the other one and put it in here as well. I hope that this was informative and helpful. I will work on an email template that's not just because there's a template. There's already an email template about Emil Bovey to the Senate Judiciary Committee acknowledging the whistleblower complaint. There is not one acknowledging each of these other complaints. I will work on that one tomorrow. And that one will go not just to the Senate Judiciary, but to all senators, every single senator, so that we can reference all of those things. Mimi, I'm not Miss Cleo. I have no idea. What I do know is that there will be a discussion between the Senate parliamentarian and Senate Democrats from the Senate Judiciary when they walked out because they broke the quorum, right? And so there should be nothing else there. So just so that everybody knows, and what we will do tomorrow is pick back up where we left off. Remember that we started talking about the Department of Education and contacting your state departments of education, contacting your school boards to ask about their plans. Because listen, this is incredibly important. When the Department of Education waits until the day before funding is supposed to be in your state departments of education to tell them the money is not coming, it's illegal. And that is why several attorney generals across the country have filed lawsuits because of that. And that's a big deal. So again, y'all, I cannot say enough that letters to the editors are incredibly important. They are powerful. And that you oh, thanks, Valerie. And so are your emails to your senator specifically regarding Emil Bovey. Also, do not forget that you can also file complaints with the Bar Association with regard to Emil Bovey and his conduct. Sometimes I think that it's important when just regular people like you and I do those things, in addition to the attorneys that are doing those things, in addition to the senators that are doing those things, because it tells them that the public is watching, the public is informed. And when the public learns of these things, we're not okay with them. And that's why it's so important to, thanks, Cam. That's why it's so important to share information within your circle of influence, so that the people in your life know about these things that are happening. Stacy D and the place to be. I know you wanted to, yeah, Deuce is wild. I'll have to work on a form letter. All the form letters I write myself and put them in there. So there's the only one that's in there right now is the one regarding the Senate Judiciary. What's up, Stacy?
What's up? So, I was on Jeremiah's. He's doing great. He's like going live and he's shouting you out and he's talking about the things. And he said he's been going like MAGA Negro, uncut Negro, like MAGA going to these lives.
Yeah.
As a MAGA, whatever, having these conversations. But I spoke to him in his live today. The little snippets that you're giving us, the slides of the states that we're doing, and even anything that you put from this, make sure when you share it, you tag your representatives. Because as much as it impacts to have their letters, our letters flood their offices, our postcards flood their offices, our emails flood their inboxes, they can ignore some of that. Everybody is on social media. And so while we are sharing out this information, make sure you tag your representative and any other representative you can think of.
So
They may not be writing it. They may not be managing their social media, but somebody is.
yep. So remember this, folks. One of the first documents that I ever put in the Google Drive is the 5 steps for contacting your representatives. That step is one of them. Making sure that when you email them, you post the same information on your socials, tag them on your socials, but don't just tag them on your socials. Tag your friends and family. That tag your people, tag your local press, don't tag national press, tag your local press. And the reason why is because your local press needs to know that people locally you are more likely to hear from your local press than you are ever going to be from national press, right?
100%. Like
So
here in Pennsylvania, Christy Houlihan is one of my representatives. I know she goes out, she knocks on doors, and she was one of them hosts. I mean, one of those representatives that that voted to censure Al Green, and she heard from my ass, right? So I just think Dani pre-packages this information for us that is so easy for us to share
You want
out.
what?
Don't forget when
Okay,
you're
I'm
sharing
coming.
it out. If you're not someone who feels comfortable, confident
know,
enough
I'm
to write
coming.
an email and then do the cut, the copy, the paste, put it in your social and do it. If you are just sending out the slides that Dani produces for us and you are tagging your representatives, can you imagine? Can you imagine if Chrissy Houlihan, my local PA representative, not only got something from me, but she got something from everybody. Like whoever is running her social media would be like, Ms. Houlihan, what's going on your social? Right?
Yes.
That's something that is huge. Not everybody reads emails. Not everybody sends emails, but everybody is on their freaking social media. So do not miss that opportunity. Whether you're sending an email or not, if you're just doing the bare minimum of reposting one of Dani's clips, if we're clipping it so much, so there were so many amazing nuggets from tonight's live. As long as it was, we got lots of nuggets, right? So if you're gonna clip any of it, because you can go back to Facebook, because I went back and clipped some of that Gary shit from the other night, because that was fire. I'm like, yeah,
What was it?
Gary.
Oh,
Gary, on the night of the 16th, going into the 17th, I remember close to my birthday.
because I said his name 20 times.
Yeah, Gary. Because if you really cared, you would have looked it up, Gary. And if you really cared, you would know about this, Gary. Yeah, that. Right? So if we just clip portions of that, where we go back to Facebook and we download it or screen record it from our phones, it's really easy to do. And then you repost it and you tag not only your representative, but the representative. It doesn't have to be the representative of your state. Like we've got
Yes.
New Jersey and we've got Virginia coming up. Because not only does it let them know that we know, it lets them know. Not only does it let them know, but it lets them know we know.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, and listen, for those of you guys who are wondering, you said it's on the 16th, Stace?
It was on the 16th going into the 17th.
Okay, awesome. Because one of the things that that I will be doing. So when I go to TikTok and I download a live and then I go to clip things, TikTok has to process it and then download it and blah 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 blah. So sometimes I forget when I'm in the middle of doing some shit to like actually have it do that. But I will clip the Gary stuff because yeah, I was listen, I did the whole thing. I'll pretend to be you be Joe Biden. I'll be Trump.
It was so freaking good. You were like, and by the way, oh, and let me tell you this, bro. Don't be mad, right? Don't be mad. But I'm gonna do this, and I just need you to take it on the chin.
Yep, 100%.
Right? It was so freaking good. So I'm letting everybody in the room know that you don't have to wait for Dani to clip it. You can just go to Facebook and swoop down on your phone and hit screen record, and you can record it. You can clip it and you can share it.
Yep.
And then tag all these MFers around the country and let them MFers know I see you. I see you. And
Yeah.
I know you see me too.
Yeah, 100%. Y'all, listen, we have good work to do. We have I don't even know how to say it. Like we have lots of good trouble to make. And I want to see us make it and make it consistently. I know that sometimes it gets heavy. I know that sometimes it gets challenging. But remember, you have got to do the things that you need to stay up and ready to go. So if you need to get grounded, whatever it is, whatever it is that you do. Me, I like to put my feet in the earth. I like to play music. I like to do art. Whatever it is that you need.
Which is what I did today.
Yeah.
On my lanai.
I don't sleep much and haven't been sleeping great lately. So, but I just whatever it is that you need, I want you all to remember this, okay? We did not get here overnight. It will not be fixed overnight. And it is possible to do. And instead of being anxious and nervous, projecting to the future, be excited about the present moment. Yeah, LB Donna, yes, tomorrow will be the first half of tomorrow's live will be a mental health Monday, and then it will be all of that. Yeah. So let me tell you something, folks. Anytime you are anxious, you are living in the future. Anytime you're depressed, you are living in the past. Stay in the present moment. In the present moment. And right now, I want you all to remember that we could be excited about the community that we have built, the community that we are together, and what we are working towards and doing with each other.
Dani, real quick before you go, I sent you the link to the New Jersey election data. Do
Yep.
you want the state legislative and state senate?
I think yes, because it is a statewide election.
It is a statewide election here. Okay, just wanted to make sure.
Yep. And then we need to find somebody that can pull Virginia stats. I have federal Virginia. Let me just say this. I have federal Virginia for rural counties, but not for everyone. So we need Virginia as well because it's a statewide election. Yeah. So guys, the next round, let me just tell you all, the next round of graphics that are going out. I showed you all the one from District 1 in Virginia. It says, Virginia District 1, and then it tells you 16,000 people out of. And y'all, I have gone to the Virginia Department of Medical Assistance to get the accurate month up to date numbers of the folks that are on Cardinal Care, which is Virginia's Medicaid. and pulled it. So there are approximately 108,000 people in District 1 that are on Virginia's Medicaid. Okay. And 16,000 of them are projected to lose their benefits beginning December of 2026. So think about that. That is a really strong sentiment. And then what happens is under that, it actually lists the counties and the cities that are included in that district, right? Jan B, I'm not worried about any executive order about voter rolls. Voter rolls are run by the state. And so he can't tell states how to run their voter registration. He can think that he can, but he can't. And only confirmed citizens get on voter registration rolls. Just so everybody is clear, if an unauthorized immigrant registers to vote and because they can't legally vote, right? They are deported and they can face up to 5 years in prison just for registering to vote. I need for y'all to understand unauthorized immigrants ain't trying to vote. They're not trying to commit a crime. They are trying to stay on the low because they don't want to leave. Yeah, they're not doing none of that. And by the way, just so you all understand, in many of the cities, for example, Miami, right? Many times they are targeted. Why are they targeted? Because many of them don't have bank accounts. They carry around cash on them, and they know that if they get attacked, many of them don't go to the police because they are unauthorized and they don't want to be deported. So I need for people to understand that these are not the folks you need to be scared of. It's usually Jimmy, Joe, Bob, and John Boy down the damn street. And yes, I mean that exactly the way I said it. Ask the FBI what the greatest threat to this country is. What is the greatest domestic threat in this country? There's a specific demographic. So I'm just telling you, that ain't Danny Cook's version. That is what the FBI says. Right. Y'all know who they are. I ain't got to tell you. Just so we all understand. Okay. So things that that are your kind of marching orders, if you will, right? The ask of you tomorrow is to contact your state board of education, right? Your state department of education, the board of education. Like, what is your plan without federal funding, right? Also emails to your senator about Emil Bovee, 100%. Posting it online, tagging your representatives online. This is the deal. The documents that we have shared with you tonight, the links to these court documents are in my link tree, folks. It is when you go to my profile, the link to my link tree is there. Lisa has been getting it organized for me, which I greatly appreciate. These links are there. Post them on your social media. Tell people, did you know that this is the thing, that this has happened? Did you know that these are the complaints that have been filed? Did you know that 900 lawyers have said, get this dude out of the damn government, take his law license from him? Right? These things are important. And the only way that we come out of this with a country that we are safe in, with a country that we are proud to be in, with a country that our children will be safe in, right? Is if we do this work and be completely committed to it all the time, every day, no matter what. This is the way that we do this. Right. Look up emails now and listen. I have the contacts for your senators and your House representatives in my link tree. Click it. There's a link there. There's a link there. I do my best to link as much information and make things as easy for you as possible. Why do I do that? I do that because you and I don't have the luxury of not having to work, not having to take care of our family. Nobody is making life easy for us. Most we're doing all of those things, right? And And so it takes a lot of time sometimes to do these things. So if I can make it easier for every American citizen to participate in this process, then great, right? And by the way, if organizations like ALEC can make it easy for senators to sponsor legislation by simply filling in the fucking blank with their state's name, then we can make it easy for people to write emails to their senators and to their House representatives, their state legislators, their school boards, all of those things, right? That is the idea. Steal a page from their book, use their own tactics against them, and do it with integrity, with authenticity, right? With compassion, with empathy, with respect. That's the difference. Use their tactics, but use them for good. And that's how we will come through this. Got it? Your finger just broke off. Oh, you guys got to 500K. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. All right, folks, I'm going to wind it down because I have been up here for 4 hours. No, five, fuck if I know, 5 almost 5 hours. Long day, long live. But it's been forever. Absolutely. I will be with you tomorrow. It will not be our normal morning time. Kiddos have physical therapy at I don't know, I think 10 a.m. in the morning. Appreciate you guys. So it will be after that in the afternoon. But we will be on it. I will work on templates tomorrow and more graphics tomorrow. And we will continue to do the work. You are very welcome, Jazzy. Thank you guys. Make sure that you are following me across the socials. I am at the Dani Cook, TikTok, YouTube, Substack, Blue Sky, Facebook, and the podcast is the Dani Cook Show. Okay, that's the podcast. Make sure you take a listen. Love you much. Appreciate you guys. Have a good evening. See you tomorrow. Yep, and join Discord. The link to that is also in the link tree. Okay, love you. Mean it. Good night, guys.